All right, test. Okay, so let's try this lecture again. So today we're going to cover how to create a table in MySQL, and as well as to how to create a table, a database, how to create a table, and how to insert values into the table, as well as updating the table and so on and so forth. So let's get started. Okay. That's where is it? Where is it? Where's my window? Okay, looks like my window closed, so give me a minute here. There we go. Oh, that's a little too big. That's better. Caps lock sound. All right. So here we go. Here we are on our PHP MyAdmin. But first, let's open up MySQL in the terminal. So here we have the terminal. Let's do sudo MySQL, and let's show our databases. Okay, so that's the current databases that we have. All right, so creating a table. After creating an empty database and understanding the different types of data types, you can now add tables to your database to hold data. Tables are created using the create table DDL. So let's go ahead and create our test database. So we'll use the create test DB. Let's do this with proper caps. Create test DB semicolon create database test DB. All right. Show databases. And there is our test DB. All right, good to go. Now let's select our test database. So in order to select the test database, we use the command use. So use test DB semicolon. Now we have selected our test DB database. Okay. So now that we have created our database, let's go ahead and create our contact table. Let's zoom in a bit. There you go. And now, in order to create a table, we need to use the create table command. And the name of this table will be the contact table. This contact table will have a column name of ID with a data type of integer. Second column will be called name and will be a varchar of 50 characters. The next column will be called email and will have a varchar of 100. Then we will have the H column with an integer of 3. And finally, the message column with a varchar of 2000 characters. Okay. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual for corresponds for the right syntax. near varchar email. Okay, so what did I miss? ID int. Here we go. Name. I have an extra comma. There we go. So show tables to show the tables in the test database, and sure enough, there's our contact table. Okay, let's go ahead and access this through PHP So here I am in the PHP login. Let's use the PHP user accounts. All right. So we can see that we're logged in under PHP but we can see that we cannot see the database. Now that is because the account's PHP does not have the permissions to see the table. So let's go ahead and fix that. All right, I just realized you cannot see this. Let me zoom out. There we go. So now you can see that PHP cannot see the table. Let's go back to our terminal. Zoom in down here. In order to grant the privileges to the account PHP we will need to use the command grant all privileges on test db dot asterisk. To phpMyAdmin admin at localhost. All right, that should allow phpMyAdmin to now see the database. So let's go ahead and load it up, refresh the page. And sure enough, there's our test DB and our contact table. All right. So now, from now on, from this point forward, we're going to use the phpMyAdmin interface for the rest of this lesson. Right. So adding data. The insert into statement is used to insert new records in a table. This statement has the following two forms. So we can either do, yeah, you can see it. We can either do oh, insert into table name values and we're going to have our value 1, our value 2, and our value 3, so on and so forth. Now this is just the general syntax. We can also use, there's also a different method that we can use to enter our values. So you use the above syntax without mentioning column names if you want to populate all the columns in a table with some data. If you wish to add values to specific columns in a table, then use the following syntax, specifying column names. In this example, you skipped column 2 and column 4 and insert values into column 1, 3, and 5. So let's go ahead and look at how that is done. So we do insert into table name. Then we specify column 1, column 2, column 3, etc. Values, value 1, value 2, value 3, etc. So on and so forth. Okay, so that is the general syntax of how this looks. Now let's go ahead and enter some values into our table. So let's do insert into our contact table, values, one for the ID, sad for the name, then we enter the email, which is sad@abc.com. Mr. Sad is 30 years of age, 30 years old, and he is leaving a feedback message. With me so far? Good. Let's go ahead and run this query. Verify that it added. That's good to go. All right. So now let's add a Daniel Clark. He has an ID of 2. His name is Daniel Clark. His email is daniel@gmail.com. Mr. Clark is 25 years of age. And for the message, we will enter this is a comment. And let's do one more. Well, let's go ahead and just submit Daniel Clark. All right, let's verify. Sure enough, his record has been added. Let's do one more. Okay, so now let's enter some more values. Let's do insert into contact. And now we're going to enter the ID, email, and message. Values, ID of 99. The email is abc@abc.com. And this message. Okay, so now with this format, we're only entering 3 fields specifically into our contact table. So click go. And let's do a select all. Select all from contact. And sure enough, we can see that we have a ID of 99, no name, email of abc@abc.com, no H, and a message of this message. All right, so we're good to go. So querying data. We now have 3 records in our contact table. To query this data, we will use the select statement. And its syntax is as follows. Select column name or names. If it's multiple columns, we separate them with a comma. So let's do column name 1, column name 2, and then from the table name. All right, so that's the basic syntax. So for this particular example, let's do select ID, name, email, age, message from the contact table. We click go and we get the results, right? Alternatively, if I click edit inline, we can just use an asterisk here, say select asterisk, right? So to select all columns at once, you can use the asterisk character instead of individual column names. So if I run this, we get the same result. Right. We use the where clause to get only those records that satisfy a specific criterion. All right. So let's go back into our SQL and let's type select every select everything from contact where name is equal to sad. We run that. Oh, looks like I misspelled his name. So let's try this again. Select everything from contact where name is equal to sad. There we go. Let, now, clearly I made a mistake when I entered that, so let's go ahead and correct it. To correct, I'm going to use the update command. Update. Set name equals to sad with 2 A's, where ID is equal to, and if I recall, sad had an ID of 1. Update contact. There we go. Now let's and now we can see that the name has been updated. All right. Let's go ahead and update a few more values. So updating data. We inserted, let's switch over to here. We inserted records number 99 with some missing values that we wish to populate now. The process of updating existing records in a table is accomplished through the update statement, whose syntax is, and let's go to the syntax. whose syntax is update table name, set column 1 equals value 1, column 2 equals value 2. Again, this is just the syntax, right? So on and so forth. Now, this is very important. We need to specify where sum column is equal to some value, right? Okay, so that's the syntax. Now, let's go ahead and make a true query here. So let us update the contact table, set name is equal to ABC, age is equal to 99, where ID is equal to 99. Now, keep in mind, it is very important that we use the where clause here. Otherwise, if we don't do that, it's going to update all the records with that information that we're providing. So let's go ahead and run this update query. And let's do a select all. And we can see that it's been updated. Okay. Now, warning. It is important to use the where clause, which is used to set conditions while updating table records. The where clause states which records are to be updated. If you omit the where clause, all records will be updated. All right, now let's look at how we remove data. So removing data. In this exercise, you will remove record number 99 from the table using the delete statement. Syntax for the delete statement is delete from table name where some column is equal to some value. All right, that's the general syntax. So let's go ahead and click on our test database. Let me refresh this because it's looking all wonky. All right, well, I'll just leave it as is. All right, so we've clicked our test database. So click the test database in the tree pane on your left to select this database. Type any of the following statements in the SQL tab command interface and hit go to remove record number 99. All right, so let's go to the SQL tab and let's type delete from contact where ID is equal to 99. We click go. We're going to be warned, do you really want to execute delete from contact where ID 99? Right, this is our last chance to back out. We click OK, and now that record has been deleted. So let's do a select everything from contact. No. I don't know what's going on there. Let's refresh the page. Select everything from contact. And sure enough, contact 99 has been deleted. Database and SQL are huge topics that require dedicated books. In this section, I merely scratched the surface to give you some basic knowledge about database and how to interact with it using SQL. You'll need this information in the last part of this book, where you will create a database to store data received from your website's visitor. In the next section, we will discuss. Next section discusses PHP. We'll tell you how to connect to your database and insert users' feedback in a table. All right. So see you in the next section.